All right, it's now time for the Fantasy Show Week 4 edition, 3 weeks in the books. Let's real quickly look at what happened in an interesting week 4. Very lower scoring week for fantasy, as you can see here by some of these matchups and scores. A few teams, though, did do well. Starting real quick with my matchup versus Matt, and one of the lowest scoring ones of the week, as some predicted last week on the show. I pick up squeak out a win, 91-89. It came down to Monday Night Football. I had some great starts from my Buffalo Bills players, as they both got touchdowns to put me in the lead. And then I held on with the Bengals kicker not getting a field goal at the end of the game. GG's to Matt. Unfortunately, he falls to 0-3, the only winless team in the league so far, so he is now in dead last. He keeps saying his team is ass, and it keeps showing up as ass. So unlucky for him. I will gladly take this win and run, as I had some players like Walker and Debo out, so I'll take that win to go to 2-1 happily. Anybody want to make any comments on Matt's team in particular, or my team, or we can move
He
on?
will be my last place pick to win this week.
Oh, okay. All right. So you'll be picking him to win this week. Interesting. All right. Moving on to the next matchup, as Cheese just joined. Good timing, as Cheese gets the better of Rat again, 124-98. Lower scoring week for Rat after his big week last week where he lost. Lower under 100 this week, and falls to Cheese, who just keeps on putting up a solid performance. His team all around, besides Oddchain. Oddchain was the only one that kind of underperformed. Him and Evans, 2 weeks in a row for Evans with bad games.
I yet to have a good kicker performance.
Well, we saw that coming when you overreact on.
Hey, no, I
kickers,
didn't.
so.
He outscored. Didn't the Eagles kicker have 0 points? So
Okay, well, it didn't help you any, so you still only got one. But
Well, yeah,
you know who
'cause-
did help you was your Lions boys once again, putting up 17 plus each. DK Metcalf with another big game. Those were the guys that carried you. Kyler Murray did okay.
what about
The
wide
real
receiver
the real
one?
question with Cheese's team isn't, is his team good or not? It's which quarterback does Cheese start? Because every week so far he has started the incorrect quarterback, as Jaden Daniels had 28. So week 1 Kyler Murray didn't do that great, so he goes to Jaden Daniels and makes these big claims in week 2 that Jaden Daniels is the guy, and then Jaden Daniels does worse than Kyler Murray in week 2. So then Cheese switches back, gets on the Kyler Murray hype train again, and then he doesn't do very good, and Jaden Daniels pops off on Monday Night Football and looks like a star in the making. So the real question is, Cheese, in week 4, who are you going with at quarterback?
Okay, I'll say this. I don't think I can pick wrong because they're playing each other and both
Okay.
shit defenses.
Okay.
Shut
I
up.
will be
Shut
going
up, boy,
with
first
Zach's
place.
boy, Jaden Daniels.
We're back on the Daniels
Eventually I'll get it
train
right.
for week 4.
Eventually I'll
Well,
get it right.
despite you picking the incorrect quarterback each week, you're still rolling at 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
You seem to have Rat's number. Rat's only beat you one time. Rat comments on loss to fall to 1-2. Not the start you were wanting this season, I don't think.
He got lucky.
He got lucky.
Rat is light work.
Any comments on C.J. Stroud? Very high-rated pick. You were going to need him to throw a lot of
Tank
yards and a
Dell
lot of
and,
passing touchdowns to
Tank
make up that
Dell.
value, and 9.8 ain't getting it done.
And Dalton Schultz drops a lot of passes, so they got to step up their game.
All right, and Jordan Mason finally has his first down-to-earth game, as he only had 10 points, not the CMC numbers. Browers had kind of a rough game. Pickens, he gets a lot of targets, but that doesn't equate to much in the points category. And then Jerome Ford, who everyone I'm sure has gotten in a trade offer, this past week, I'm pretty sure.
More points than Oddchain this week.
Oh, that was true. More points than Oddchain. But Cheese's racer, who should be in jail, had a huge game against
he's going to be
Should
the
be
wide
in
receiver
jail.
one.
He should be in jail. One of these days he'll be thrown in jail, maybe.
Maybe next year.
All right. Well, Rad, you said he got lucky this week. You do get another chance against Cheese later in the season.
So, guaranteed. And he's losing whoever he plays this week.
Okay, interesting. All right, moving on to the next matchup. I'm sure Zach would like if I just flipped over this one really quick.
Yeah, this was a bye.
But it was a bye. Zach was correct when he said it's a bye week but he was incorrect when he said it was a bye week for him and that he is 1 and Pook's 0-3, because Pook's team comes alive 166 to 91 after 2 horrible weeks for Pook to start out 0-2. His team responds with a massive point, absolutely destroyed Zach, who only scored 91.98 points to fall to 1-2. So both teams now 1-2. Pook had huge games from Derrick Henry with 30 huge points, ran all over the Cowboys. Jefferson did his normal thing. Amari Cooper comes alive with 12 targets and 27 huge points. A breakout game from him against those crappy Giants. You could kind of see that coming against the Giants. Ferguson had a nice game and played Chuba Hubbard. Good start by Pook to put Chuba Hubbard in there, and he popped off against the horrible Raiders. And Scary Terry, Zach's boy for the Commanders, came alive as well. So everybody that had been struggling for Pook for the first 2 weeks to cause him to be 0-2, no panic by Pook, keeps him in there, and they all reward him with huge games this week. On Zach's side,
Check DMs.
another mediocre type performance from Zach's team. That's back-to-back weeks where he falls. Lemar had a nice game though again, and Taylor did a nice game, but JK came back down to earth. We got to start being concerned, I would think, about Tyreek Hill back-to-back. Is that back-to-back single-point games for Tyreek Hill? It is. You're never seeing back-to-back single-point games in previous years from Tyreek Hill. The quarterback is really killing Tyreek Hill's value. Jameson Williams as well.
Snoop Hundley is on the way.
Kelsey single digits again. Will he ever get double digits is the question. And then Zach's flexes as well was just disastrous. Zach, your comments after you talked all that shit about Pook's team before the week started, just for Pook to absolutely shit on you this week. Your comments after this horrible defeat to Pook. Is Zach here, or is he just gonna?
We might
avoid
not
this?
hear from Zach again this season.
You hate to see it, Zach.
Pook has
Zach's gonna
comments
go with the I'm
your
just gonna
DMs.
stay on mute strategy here and act like I'm not here.
This might be the last week of the
Interesting.
Pook has
Well,
comments, I think.
Oh, Pook has
Yeah.
comments? What, did he put them in the
Yeah,
chat
I
or
think.
something?
I don't know, he said in your DMs.
Oh, he sent me a DM. Okay. This is just about his lineup for
Oh.
this week, I guess. He doesn't have any comments about Zach, so apparently we'll see when Zach comes back. He'll eventually talk, and I'll eventually bring this back up because he doesn't get away with it that easily. Moving on to the next matchup, another big win for Ernie against Tyler, 138-85. Tyler's team just continues to put up under 100 points. 138-85. Ernie goes to 3-0 on the year. That is a big surprise there. I don't think too many people would have had Ernie at 3-0. Tyler falls to 1-2. I'm not seeing this change in teams from previous seasons for Tyler as he gets off to another slow start. Geno Smith didn't do that great. Zamir White, if there was ever a game for Zamir White to go off, it was against Carolina, and he just did nothing. Singletary, though, did have a nice game for Tyler. That's one at the bright spot. Tyler's wide receivers, St. Brown and Olave, both had solid games. He's going to need that to continue, but he's going to have to find some running back help and some flex help, as he had
Mixon,
Shaheed put up a
right?
donut. His kicker put up a donut, so there's Cheese's kicker that he dropped. Tyler picked him up, and he put up a donut. And then Pittman, once again, not a good game, single digits. What were you saying, Cheese?
Does he have Mixon on? Who is Mixon?
Yeah, he has Mixon, who was out, so that hurt him.
Okay.
But I mean, he put in Singletary, who did a decent job, and I mean, you were gonna start Zamir White with that matchup. I mean, against Carolina,
I've never
he
been a
just
Zamir
did
White
nothing.
believer.
He just did nothing, and it looks like Madison is the guy. So Bill might have got something there when he spent all that
Tyler
money on
gets too
Madison.
many, he's
He
too
does
many boomer
have
bust type
injuries.
guys.
Tyler does have injuries with Mixon and Ingram, so that doesn't help. But he left Hopkins, who put 19 on his bench. So he didn't make some of the right moves, lineup decision-wise. And then he also had guys with horrible performances. And so, that's kind of what you get. At least he finally started the correct quarterback. He picked up Geno Smith, who outscored Trevor Lawrence by a couple points. But not very good. We'll see what happens with Tyler going forward with his team. On Ernie's side, it was just, another standard week so far for Ernie. Ernie putting up regularly huge point totals, top 3 or 4 point totals each week. Barkley had a monster game again. Thank you, Cheese. Kyron Williams had a monster game. When you get 33 and 31 from your running backs, it's going to be hard to beat that person. Tank Dell just did okay with 11. I mean, he didn't even need Ridley and Pitts to have good games. Kamara did his normal thing with 15. So it was just overall just a way better team, performing way better with the way better players in Barkley and Kyron Williams compared to what Tyler had on the other side at running back. And that's what kind of equates to the blowout. Anybody
Ernie
want to make any
has
comments on Ernie's team in particular or Tyler's?
Ernie
he
has a
has
great
3
team.
of the top 10 running backs.
Look, me and Ernie are in
Crazy.
negotiations. If he ever decides to
Whoa.
go online ever again.
Wow. Trade negotiations?
Yes, me and Ernie have had very fair,
May I
very
say
fair
you're
discussions.
wasting your time.
Look, I'm gonna try. It doesn't hurt.
Okay.
It
If
ain't
I'm-
Sunday.
Look, I'm
He's
gonna
3-0. It's a midweek.
We're both 3-0.
I can't see Ernie making any trades
Look, all I'm
until
saying is
he
Ernie
loses
hit
a
me
game.
up. Ernie hit me up.
Okay. All right.
But
Well,
I'm perfectly fine with keeping my team as is, so that's why I'm not worried. If we get the trade done, we get it done.
Okay.
No, we don't.
I would be
Why is
shocked.
everybody spamming my DMs at the same time?
I
right now?
would. Well, you have a good team. You're 3-0. Everyone's
No,
trying to
it's
rape
Pook.
you.
Pook's not on the show yet. He's DMing me about the NJ Transit.
Well, tell him to join the show, and then he can talk about that. But anyways,
No, Ernie has a very
I
good
don't
team. It's
see
been very
Ernie
tough
making
to...
any trades and ruining this team that has gotten off to a 3-0 start until he either gets an
Okay,
injury
Zach.
or loses a game and has some bad things.
I think the only issue with Ernie's team is his wide receivers are a bit.
Yes, but when you have the running back production that you're getting
Yeah,
from
so,
three
yeah,
of
I'm
the
just
top
saying, it's a
5
bit-
running backs, you can
I'm just
overcome
saying
it.
though, if Saquon's not gonna score 30 every week, so eventually,
He did twice.
eventually one of his running backs will have a lower game, and
He's
then he'll
had
need some wide
33,
receivers.
17, 33. I mean, he hasn't had a bad week yet.
Also, Mahomes has been kind of mid, so
Yeah, but he had a better game this week, 16. For the way quarterbacks are this day and age, you'll take 16.
Yeah, you take
from
16.
your
You'll take
quarterback.
16.
Look, some of people's drafts were go wide receivers, Ernie went running backs, and it's worked.
And it's working
And
so
it's
far, yes.
gonna keep working.
I would
'Cause
agree.
those guys are good.
I would agree.
They
That's
look
why
good.
I don't see Ernie trading any of those running backs.
I'm just saying,
because
Ernie,
they're just
if we
too
get a
good.
trade done, we get it done. If we don't, we don't. It's all good.
I mean, when the strategy is working and you've
Ernie
got 3 of
told
the
me
top
that
top
every-
5.
two players
Ernie
so
messaged
far in
me.
the
Ernie
league.
said
He
everybody
is
with Saquon is
top two.
available.
Okay, well, we'll see if that ever gets done. I'm very skeptical.
Well,
Ernie
we
says
had
a lot
better-
of things and asks about a lot of players,
We've had better
and then no
negotiations
end
than some
result
other
ever
people.
happens.
He says
Okay.
we've had some better negotiations than with some other people.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
like I said, I'll
No one
believe
wants
that
to
trade
roll
between
forward.
you and Ernie when I see it.
No
'cause
one wants to roll
I
forward,
made a
Brad.
trade before
Not a
you,
single
buddy.
person
So your
wants...
negotiation must suck.
Until I
Brad, you're
see
trying
it.
you were trying
Well,
to trade me a
I
kicker
made
for
a
Zach
trade already.
Moss.
All right,
You
we'll
wanted
get
to
into
trade me a
trades
kicker
here
for
in a
Zach Moss.
moment.
Yes, I
Let's
tried to trade
finish
you a
with this
kicker for
week.
Zach Moss.
All right, moving on to the next matchup.
Jesus.
We
Good
saw
job.
this was, I think, one of the most entertaining matchups of the week. We had Slaps versus Pusa. Everybody picked Pusa to beat Slaps with his team down bad. And Slaps comes out, all his injuries
Lucky
aside, and
Slaps.
puts up 110 points and beats Pusa 110 to 107. It came right down to the wire on Monday Night Football with Burrow and Chase. If you would have told me before the matchup or before the Monday night game started that Chase is going to put up 29 points with 2 touchdowns, I would have said, oh, Pusa's winning. However, Joe Burrow does what he needs to do to other people as well with throwing another touchdown pass and over 300 yards in that shootout of a game and puts up 25, which is what Slaps needed. He needed him to try to match Chase as much as he could, and he did that just enough to keep Slaps in the lead and get him that win. So congrats to Slaps, goes to 1-2, big win for him. He did not want to fall 0-3. He probably would have pressed the nuke button if he fell to 0-3. Pusa, on the other hand, falls to 1-2 as well, so he's right in the mix of all those 1-2 teams. Let's see. Stevenson is really what cost. Actually, both of Pusa's running backs really cost him this matchup with 0.3 points from Ramondre Stevenson. Just a horrible game to get him started on Thursday night. That really gave Slap some hope for this matchup after Thursday night, him going out there laying a dud, as well as Hurts, only 10 points in that somehow defensive game. It's a typical NFL where you think a Saints-Eagles game is going to be a shootout because both teams have been putting up a ton of points, and then they face each other this week, and it's just a defensive bloodbath. Pollard as well did not do that great. Waddle, I mean, he's 6.8. I guess that's good for Waddle nowadays with their quarterback situation. Ayuk. Everyone thought Ayuk was going to have a huge week with Debo out, and it was Jawan Jennings instead, who we'll talk about in a minute. Harrison, though, did have another nice game, and Dallas Goedert out of nowhere. 27 huge points. Kind of carried the Eagles to that victory. And then,
Look
like I
who's
said,
here.
Chase already. No, Poog is here. Pook, real quickly, Zach has yet to comment at all on what happened last week. I think he's acting like he's not here. Would you like to make any quick comments about your absolutely destroyed beatdown of Zach?
I raped him.
You did rape him. I mean, behind the woodshed, no lube.
Oh, buddy.
All right. But overall, huge win, like I said, for Slaps. Anybody want to make any comments on Slaps or Pusa or this matchup? A lot of people
I
picked
do.
Pusa in this one, and it
Pusa,
cost.
you let me the fuck in, you stupid
Yeah,
idiot.
I mean, you picked the wrong NFL team
Stupid.
too.
I don't
but
fucking care. It started
but he
because of
did let you
Pusa's
down.
luck.
Look,
You,
Slaps.
Pusa.
I'll say this: Slaps won, but his team is still not good,
Okay, yeah.
and our trade negotiations were some of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, Slaps. I think Slaps is forgetting what fantasy league he's in because his trade offers he's been sending
He
have
wanted
not been
Mike
anywhere
Evans and
close.
DK for AJ Brown, who isn't playing for 3 more weeks.
And you wanted Nico Collins for Mike
The
Evans.
the
So
Oh, that's a starting
draft
offer, though.
the draft evaluation or the player valuations from Slaps does not seem to quite be there. Seems like I got an offer earlier that was almost made me puke. But anyway,
I offered him 50 PPR points this week
We
for
heard.
0, and he declined me.
we heard. Well, he got the win despite that. So,
Well, for next week.
oh, well then how do you know they're gonna have 50 PPR points?
I said they had 50 this week, and his player
So
had
that
0.
just seems like
Therefore,
maybe
it's a
they're
very
gonna have
good
bad
trade.
weeks next week.
No, very good trade.
Okay. All right, and then moving on to the final matchup of the week, we had Zombie just taking Bill. Speaking of the woodshed, rape, and no lube, taking Bill behind there as well. 182 to 105. Huge win for Zombie to go to 3-0 and join that bunch at the top. Very strong week, most points on the week. Dak Prescott had a huge game. Breece Hall did his normal thing. Aaron Jones had a monster game. Drake London had a nice game. And then obviously the pickup that when I thought I'd lost to Matt, that I was regretting not bidding more on Jawan Jennings, who had 46.5 huge points, 3 touchdowns, 11 catches on 12 targets. I mean, if Debo was never coming back and Kittle was always out, this guy going forward would be great. But I don't know if he's ever going to come anywhere close to a game like this ever again. But it helped Zombie this week, and it sure would have helped me as well. But I was able to overcome it, thank God, or I would have been regretting myself not bidding more than Zombie on this player. But GG's to Zombie on the huge one. Although we got to talk about real quick Isaiah Likely, another horrible game. That is looking like a one-hit wonder after week 1. Doesn't look good after that. On Bill's side, had a solid, great performance from Josh Allen, a great bounce back, which we all kind of knew would happen. But his running backs, James Conner had a horrible week. Javonte Williams, single digits. His wide receivers just did okay, but he needed his wide receivers to have pop-offs to make up for the running backs, and that didn't happen. And he gets beat by like 80 or 75. Anyone to fall to 1 and 2 as well? Anybody want to make any comments on Zombies 3-0 team or Bills team?
Mickey Mouse 3-0 team.
Mickey Mouse, really? Wow.
No, it's not Mickey Mouse, but he's not going to score that high again. Juan Jennings is never scoring over 30 points the entire season. He got bailed.
I'll be surprised if he scores over 20 again.
I will say his tight ends. Well, he has Njoku. Yes. I'll say it's a solid team. Definitely better than some others. I think 3-0 is a bit too much, but very solid team.
Okay. All right, so real quickly looking at the standings after last week's matchups, as I said, very interesting standings. I don't think I've ever seen this where there's only 4 teams that are over 500.
You're not in the Discord, by the way. You're not live yet.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, thank you. Hold on. All right, so as I said, only 4 teams over 500 right now. We have 3-3-0 teams: Zombie, Ernie, and Cheese, all 1-2-3. Then myself, the only 2-1 team. That's a little surprising that some of those other 1-1 teams did not win last week. But then you have a whole slew of 1-2. So at the moment, Rat, Bill, and Zach would all be in the playoffs if they started at 1-2. You have Pusa falling short at 1-2. Pook now at 1-2 in that mix. Slaps 1-2 in that mix, and Tyler now in 11th place at 1-2. And then you have Matt, the only team in dead last at 0-3, winless on the year so far. So interesting standings. It's looking more like 7 wins could probably get you in the playoffs this year with how many 1-2 teams there are right now, but long way to go still in the season. Real quickly, looking at waivers for last week, kind of a little bit of a slower week, not too crazy. Bill, though, did make a splash and get Cole Kmet for $23. Tight end who had a monster game last week for the Bears. We'll see if that continues, though, as there's a lot of wide receivers there. He bet
Bill
23.
just pisses away Fab.
Yeah, he seemed to be spending it very recklessly, but I'm assuming he's going to say there ain't going to be much available in the future, and he might be right. But he's spending it while he's got it. I bid 9. That was the next closest bid, so a bit of an overpay there for Bill. Rat spends $10 on a kicker. Tyler Bass. Interesting there. I thought it'd be around like 3 or 4 or maybe 2. I bid 2.
I can explain
$10.
myself.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to see another kicker outperform Justin Tucker, and I play Zach this week, so it's going to be fun to watch.
Ooh, okay. So
$10 is worth the entertainment.
Okay. Then we have a couple $9 bids that nobody else bid on. Myself picking up the Bengals wide receiver who keeps putting up decent weeks, even with T. Higgins back this past week. He's going to stash on the bench for now and see what happens. And then Pook gets his boy Sam Darnold, who's been putting up monster numbers. We'll see if it continues for $9 as well. I'm assuming, Pook, you're starting him this week with that big pickup.
I am, because Cheese is being a little fucking bitch and won't give me the stack.
Oh.
I'm not giving you the stack.
Okay.
Unless
I'm
you
You
get better
technically
offer.
have a stack.
And you don't want to do shit.
You technically
Well, you have
a stack.
JJ, don't you? So you have JJ.
He wants the Washington Commie
I
stack.
had to get a different one.
Oh,
He
you're
wants the
switching
Commander
stacks.
stack.
I want
And I'm not
either of
giving
those
away a
stacks.
top 5
Oh,
QB.
he's trying to trade for Jaden
You're
Daniels.
asking for Justin Jefferson for Jaden Daniels.
Oh,
Whoa, I
boy.
didn't say that. I never once said that.
Oh boy. Well, Pook, all you got to do is hope that Jaden Daniels has 1 or 2 bad weeks, and then Cheese's value on him will go way down because Cheese seems to switch his quarterbacks each week based on what they did the previous week. So just wait for him to have 1 or 2 bad weeks, and then you can trade for him for
I
lesser
am
value.
rolling with Darnold Trump.
Donald Trump, okay.
My new quarterback.
Well, let's hope he brings you a win this week like Trump wins the election. And then Bill bids $3 on Tyrone Tracy. Not much really going there. Andy Dalton as well. Bill gets for 2. Pook picks up a Carolina wide receiver with Thielen being hurt. Roshan Johnson. Tyler picks him up for 0, drops Tua. And then Cheese picked up a new kicker. So 3rd time's a charm, right, Cheese?
Yep.
Okay, that kicker's already missed some this year, I'm pretty sure. I've
But
seen
he's still, look
I've
at
seen
his
him
win
already
totals.
miss like 2, I think. Okay, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm
I don't
sure
care
you'll
if he
be
misses.
you'll be on kicker number 4 here shortly. I'm pretty sure.
Eventually, one has to hit. I can't have this
Okay.
production all year.
All right, and then only one trade that was done yesterday between me and Bill. Kind of a big one, decent size, as I get rid of some of my guys that I like a lot, but I got a guy that I like a little bit more. As Bill gets Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Michael Wilson, I receive in return P. Ryan, Garrett Wilson, and Isaiah Pacheco, who's obviously hurt for a while and on IR. Basically, this trade kind of just fits both of our needs, which is why it got done. Bill wants a running back that's more stable. Assuming Walker comes back this week, that would be the guy for him. And he likes Jackson Smith and Jigba. I was looking to try to get a 4th wide receiver that I view better than in Jigba, so I upgraded there. I think Wilson will be good in the future. He got a touchdown this past week. The targets have been there, just he hasn't put up the huge games yet. And then I get Pacheco for possibly later in the season. If he comes back, then that would help. I've been winning so far this year without an RB2 that's been that great, so I'm going to keep pressing my luck with that and hope that Garrett Wilson's bigger. That's my view on it. Bill, on the other hand, like I said, he gets more solid players with Njigba and Walker to add to his lineup. That should be good. So we'll see what happens. This is a bit of a risk, but I'm going to take the gamble with Garrett Wilson being better than Njigba and Walker. Anybody want to make any comments on this trade?
There is one specific person, I will not name names,
Uh-huh.
who needs to look at that trade and realize that is what a fair trade looks like.
Yes.
And stop being a little fucking bitch.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, slaps.
All right, yeah.
Party.
Not me.
Oh, in the part. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about slaps, but
You thought about me.
There
I
are
mean,
three people that need to look at that.
I would
trade.
say
Sounds
there
like
was a
yourself.
few. I would say there's a
Two
few
of them, two of
because
them are in the party.
Sounds like
listen,
yourself, Cook.
I would give some advice to one in particular trader that's been trying to send a lot of offers, including one that I just got a little bit
Nobody
ago
wants Jerome
that I
Ford.
almost threw up
Oh, I
because
didn't send an offer
it
to
was so
golfer.
bad.
I
No,
did not
I'm
send it.
talking about slaps.
Oh,
Slaps.
What's
You
the trade?
need
Leak
to
it, leak it.
you need to start looking at people's teams and what their needs are and how you give them value and how they give you value in return instead of just trying to rape everybody. Nobody is going to accept your trade that is a rape. They're just going to decline it and call you a horrible trader. Instead, you need to start looking at when you trade, you have to give up a little to get a little back somewhere else. That is how a fair trade happens. Do I want to give up Kenneth Walker? Hell no, I don't want to give up Kenneth Walker. But I wanted the better wide receiver that I think will be better the rest of the year than Njigba. And I'll take the chance that Pacheco in the future comes back and maybe P. Ryan or since I have Hunt, one of them fill in for in the meantime at my RB2 spot. That's why I did the trade. It's a risk or reward. And Bill does the trade because he wants a better running back since Pacheco's hurt, and he thinks Njigba will be good as a flex option on his team. So he bumps up his other wide receivers to the two spots and puts Njigba in the flex. That's how trading works, Slaps. It's not let me send you all my injured or bad players for all your good top tier players that are performing. Nobody is ever going to accept a trade like that in this league, especially Slaps. So instead of trying to rape somebody, Slaps, which ain't gonna happen, you need to start looking at people's teams and evaluating if you give up this but you get this in return, will it work out for you or not?
Amen. That's
Okay,
why you get
we'll
the commission.
we'll see if that hits Slaps tomorrow when he watches or not. But all right, moving on. Oh, did I just hear Zach?
Yes, you
Is
did.
Zach here? Hello, Zach.
No, he's back on mute mode.
he's gonna ignore you.
All right. Well, when we get to his matchup.
No, that was me. That wasn't Zach.
Oh, I thought that was Zach.
Oh,
All
I
right,
said
moving
very
on
talented.
then to the week 4 matchups. We'll start at the top. My matchup versus Slaps, as I just got done giving Slaps that rant on trades. Me and him play each other this week, so big matchup for both of us. I'm 2-1, he's 1-2, so big chance for him to go to 2-2 and push me back to 2-2 as well. Hopefully I can get the win. We'll see. Right now, Sleeper has a very close 111 to 111 at the moment. I have Purdy against New England on Sunday afternoon. James Cook, who's been looking really good this year, but he has a more tough matchup against Baltimore this week on Sunday Night Football. At the moment, Chase Brown in there against Carolina. Decent matchup, and Chase Brown has been running the ball well these last 2 weeks when he gets the ball. The problem is Cincinnati barely uses him. Maybe that will start to change as they've seen the last 2 weeks what he can do when he gets the ball. CeeDee Lamb tomorrow night to get me started against the Giants. I'm expecting a big game from him after last week where the Cowboys fell short. This is like almost a must-win for the Cowboys against the Giants at 1-2. Both teams 1-2. So I expect a big game from him. Adams against Cleveland. Kincaid finally showed up for me. Showed up for white tight ends out there with a decent game this past week, getting about 13 and a touchdown. Plays Baltimore on Sunday night. Christian Watson at the moment in there against Minnesota. Hopefully Jordan Love will be back. We'll see. I might have to change that if he's not. And Garrett Wilson, newly acquired against Denver. Not the best matchup starting out, but we'll see if the targets will be there and he can still play solid enough, even though he'll be facing Surtain. Aaron Rodgers has been playing a little bit better, so maybe he can still put up decent points. And then Bates, the kicker for Detroit after a bad week against Seattle on Monday night. Burrow on his side against Carolina is a great matchup. That is also a must-win for the Bengals, so I'm expecting Burrow to have another big game. Rashad White against Philly. Najee Harris against the Colts. A.J. Brown, assuming he plays against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay just got upset last week, so we'll see at Tampa Bay what that game looks like. And if A.J. Brown's back. Zay Flowers on Sunday night against Buffalo, so we both have players on Sunday night, and we both have players on Monday night, with Sam Laporta, assuming he's good to go against Seattle. Roma Dunze coming in after his monster week on Slap's bench last week. I like the matchup against the Rams. Should be decent. We'll see, though, if Keenan Allen comes back and maybe that affects him at all. We'll see what happens with that. If Caleb Williams cannot look good in this matchup against the Rams, then I'm sure Tyler won't be panicked, but some other people will start panicking because the Rams defense does not look good at all. Christian Kirk against Houston, and then the kicker coup against New Orleans. I do think this will be very close. I like some of Slaps' matchups. They worry me a bit. I do like a few of my matchups as well. Purdy had his best game last week. We'll see how he fares against New England. The only part that worries me this week is my Buffalo guys. They are due for a bad game because Buffalo's just been scoring at will. They're due for a lesser game, and Baltimore is a tough team that needs a win. So it might be an ugly type of game. That's the only part of my lineup that really worries me. But I'm going to say I get bounce back games from Adams, and CD has a huge game to get me started on Thursday night, and I just get just enough to win like 115 to 110-ish, and I'll obviously pick myself. Cheese, who's winning?
You're gonna win.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys always rape the Giants, so CD will have a breakout game.
Yep, hopefully so.
And I'm gonna actively root on the Slap's downfall until he makes better trade offers.
Okay.
Because you're not getting Mike Evans and DK. I don't care how bad of a game Mike Evans had last week. You're not getting him and DK Metcalf for AJ Brown. That's ridiculous. Two potential wide receiver ones for a better one. Like, that's ridiculous.
All right. Maybe if AJ Brown was popping off each week, that would be
maybe
a little more one. That leads me to my point of Slaps not looking at the
if
current
AJ
value.
Brown was dropping like 30 every week, that's a closer offer. But he's
with
not.
Evans
He's hurt
struggling.
right now. And I would have given Slaps 2 players. That's like I had a much better offer last week to put players right in his lineup immediately because Rashad White is getting cucked by Bucky Irving. So,
Okay.
although I do like Harris this week because Warren's kind of hurt, but otherwise you're gonna take it home.
Alrighty. Rat, who's winning?
Taking golfer. Reported body's not playing, and AJ Brown won't be playing, and Slab's is going to have to find.
I would not mind if either of those don't play this week.
So
I think they'll play, just be decoys.
AJ Brown is not playing. The Eagles are going to be smart with their bye week and rest up Smith.
Do they have a bye week next week?
Yes.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
And yeah, Laporta, I don't know.
Alrighty.
Downfall. Slabs is it.
All right. Pook.
I think Golfer will win, but I think Najee Harris will have a big game, and then we'll have Slaps offer him to every single person in the chat.
Okay, interesting. All right, is Zach here?
Nope.
Tie.
Tie. All right, Zach, any comment on your beatdown of Pook, or you getting beat down by Pook last week? Didn't think so. All righty. Keep avoiding that, Zach. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it, buddy. Keep avoiding it. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We have a pretty good one here. This is a good matchup. Rat versus Zach. The GGU's ones have already been broken out in the chat. Right now, Sleeper has Zach projected to get a win that he needs big time after starting 1-0 this year with a huge victory. Everyone kind of was giving him some credit on his team. Well, then it's kind of gone off the rails the last 2 weeks, so he needs a bounce back. Rat, on the other hand, can't really afford to lose this either, or he'll start being a little worried. So one of these teams has fallen to 1-3. The other's feeling a lot better about themselves at 2-2. There's a trend on that this week with quite a few of the 1-2 teams facing. So we got here for Sleeper projecting 117 to 113. Zach has Lamar Jackson on that big Sunday night game against Buffalo. Taylor against Pittsburgh. J.K. Dobbins against Kansas City. We'll see if he can bounce back. Tyreek Hill on Monday night against Tennessee. There's 2 Monday night games again this week. That Tennessee-Miami game on paper looks like it could be a shit show. Zach's hoping there's at least points in the game. We'll see what quarterback Miami rolls out as well. Jameson Williams as well on Monday night. So Zach has a few Monday night players. This could come down to if those guys can pop off. Williams has struggled a little bit against Seattle. We'll see what he can do. Travis Kelce against the Chargers. Chargers defenses look pretty good. Kelce has not looked good at all. We'll see. I cannot believe they're still projecting Kelce for 12 points. That just seems, I mean, he's not come anywhere close to that sleeper. You need to start adjusting your projections because this ain't the Kelce that we've seen from previous seasons so far. Jaden Reed in there against Minnesota. If Love plays, and that could be decent. Wan'Dale Robinson currently in the 4th flex against Dallas tomorrow night. So Zach has a Thursday night player. And then Justin Tucker on Sunday night. As we already said, it'll be the battle of Sunday night kickers with Rat picking up Bass. So we'll see. Who's Zach benching? Why is he starting Wan'Dale Robinson? Oh, he's benching Judy against the Raiders. Interesting. All right, on Rat's side, C.J. Stroud in there against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's defense just got absolutely torched by Josh Allen. C.J. Stroud had his worst game of the season, so I'm expecting a big bounce back from him against that Jacksonville defense. Brian Robinson against Arizona as well, looking for a little bit of a better game. Jordan Mason against New England should be good. This is almost a must-win for the 49ers as well against the Patriots. Nico Collins, you would figure if Stroud has a huge game against Jacksonville defense, Nico Collins will also. Pickens, Rats boy Pickens. He seems to be only Rats boy. Against the Colts, good matchup, should do well. Brock Bowers against Cleveland. T. Higgins now in there against Carolina. Good matchup there. And Brandon Cooks. So I sense a theme here. You both start a Sunday night kicker. And now, Rat, you're putting in a guy that plays tomorrow night. Could be a little shaky for Zach's guy. That might be a little shaky. Interesting. Who are you benching? You're benching...
Smith is not playing.
Oh, yeah.
I already
Devontae
told you
Smith
that.
has a concussion. Yeah, that kind of hurts you.
I'm going for Cooks to
And
be.
you're not going with Ford against the Raiders.
Juan
Okay.
Jennings.
Interesting. So you're trying to get rid of Ford, yet you don't even have the faith to start him against the Raiders in that
Juan
decent
Jennings.
matchup. Okay. Jawan Jennings. You don't have Jawan Jennings.
I'm saying if Juan Jennings can
Oh.
put up 46, Brandon Cooks can put up 20.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. We'll see. I do think this matchup's going to be close. I think the top halves of both lineups are pretty solid. So it kind of comes down to the bottom half with the tight ends, the flexes. I mean, both flexes, they got question marks on those final flexes. I think whoever has the better game in that final flex spot wins this game. I think that's how close it will be. I just don't trust any Giants players, so I guess I'll go with Cooks to have the better game over Wan'Dale. So I will take Rat in a close one, very close, about around what Sleeper has, but except for Rat instead of Zach. Cheese, who's winning?
Rat's team has been exposed.
Oh, okay.
DMC is in Germany. He's never coming home.
He's there for Oktoberfest.
And look, Jordan Mason, he's fine, but he's not. He's basically lost the first round pick production.
He's very solid. He gets a lot of carries, but he's not number
Zach's
one overall.
team is
Doesn't
boom or
catch
bust every week, and then I'm feeling a boom week for him.
Okay.
Jaden Reed, whatever his name is, he's like the RB2 over there in Packers land, RB1. But he's been pretty solid.
Wide receiver one?
They run the ball with him a lot.
Oh, okay.
Snoop Huntley is going to make Tyreek Hill better.
Okay.
I'm not going to say where he was, but it's going to be better. He can at least
double
hit
digits
targets.
Okay.
He can at least hit a target, unlike whatever Skylar Thompson is supposed to be. He can at least pass the ball to Tyreek and let Tyreek run for yards. So it can be better. I think Rat's team though is if the Texans have a bad week, he's cooked.
Yeah,
Higgins
but
not great.
I don't think that's gonna happen. They're playing Jacksonville at home.
But it might be a situation where Buffalo where they just give up after the first half.
Maybe. But yeah, Allen still put up 30 before they gave up.
I think this is going to be unironically a high scoring matchup.
Okay.
And Zach will take it home.
Wow. Okay. Strong
it'll
word
be
there.
high
Wow,
scoring.
I'm a little surprised. Wow. Okay. Zach, are you here?
Fake rat.
You're picking
Okay.
fake rat. You're picking against yourself?
Can we kick
That's
Zach?
that's where we're at
That's
nowadays,
funny.
Zach?
Can we kick Zach? Poop, did you hear that?
That's
Wow.
funny.
No.
Zach picked
Zach
fake
is
rat to win
picking rat to
against
win.
himself.
I guess he's going full GGU1.
Yikes.
Yikes. Man, we went from week 1 on a high horse after that
All
huge
right,
week
golfer,
to
I'm
now
changing my
this.
pick. I'm
Oh.
changing my
That's funny.
pick. Zach doesn't even
Okay.
believe in his team. I'm not going to believe in his
Oh,
team.
okay.
Fake rat, you got this.
All right. Pook, are you picking Zach or rat?
Hold up. I need to look at how down bad Zach is with his team.
I mean, he's got Jaden Reed. He's starting Wandell Robinson for the Giants. And Jamison Williams Monday night. I mean, Tyreek Hill.
I'm gonna pick Zach because he hasn't changed his team name yet. If he changes his team name, that means he's really down bad.
I mean, he's still determining his team.
He's still determining if he's going to show up next week.
All right. Rat. Okay. Everybody seems to be picking you.
I mean, Zach's not wrong. I'm winning. Nico
Okay.
Collins, wide receiver 1 this week, and T. Higgins will have a breakout game because the Bengals need to win. Well, let's be honest. T. Higgins was out for the first 2 weeks. He got his snaps back. He was getting into the game. He'll be back
And they
next week.
still lost.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, he was getting his reps back.
Yoshivas.
He'll be back. Nah.
Yoshivas stealing some of those.
But Nico Collins, 35 points. Remember that.
Okay, 35.
Jesus.
I have him in JV, so I would not mind that. All right. We will see there. Moving on to the next matchup. We have Matt at 0-3 versus Tyler at 1-2. This matchup, it's not interesting because these two teams are performing well. It's just interesting because they're both in 11th and 12th place in the league. So it kind of is a big one in that aspect. Right now, Sleeper projecting Matt to win 113 to 107. Matt has Richardson. He hasn't gone. I'm surprised he hasn't gone to the Fields hype yet. Fields has been out playing pretty good.
What are the fantasy points been?
I mean, they're facing. I mean, he had 18 this past week and then 11-11. Not great the first 2 weeks, but he had 18 last week.
Oh, and they play each other.
Yeah, they play each other. I would much rather go with Fields against that Colts defense, in personal opinion, over Richardson against Pittsburgh's defense. But I don't know. He's sticking with Richardson. He had that huge game week 1, but then 9-5 in the last 2 weeks, and has not looked good, especially in the red zone, throwing some horrible turnovers. But he's sticking with Richardson again this week. We'll see. Bijan Robinson against the Saints as well in there. We'll see if Matt holds on to Bijan. He's been shopping him today in the chat. We'll see if Matt makes a trade this week. He's been floating out the idea of it. ETN against Houston. Diggs against Jacksonville. So we'll see if that is a shootout and if all the Houston wide receivers get the run. Jordan Addison against Green Bay. Is he gonna play this week?
Limited today. That's a good sign.
All right, so maybe.
He practiced
Mark
on Wednesday.
drop a goose egg Andrews last week against Buffalo. I mean, I don't know. Is Andrews with that bad injury last year? Maybe Andrews is just toast. I don't know. He's not looked good this year. Then the Bears, 2 players in there again in his flex. He's kept them in all the weeks. DeAndre Swift. Not looking good, not running good, but maybe he can get right against the Rams, whose defense is horrible. And then DJ Moore had a nice game last week. Expect him to have another decent one against that Rams defense. And then McPherson against Carolina. On Tyler's side, he's going with Trevor Lawrence this week against Houston. So he used Geno last week.
Why you switch?
And now he's going back to Trevor Lawrence this week against Houston. Maybe he thinks this is a do or die game for Jacksonville. I don't know. Mixon, I mean, Geno plays Detroit, so Detroit's pretty decent, but it's on Monday night. I would lean to maybe the Monday night guy, but I don't know. Mixon, assuming he plays against Jacksonville, Tyler really needs him to play. Singletary tomorrow night to get him started against Dallas. I do like that matchup for Singletary. He had a great game last week and has looked pretty good. Gets a lot of the ball, and Dallas's defense has looked bad the last 2 weeks. St. Brown on Monday night against Seattle. Olave against Atlanta, assuming Ingram comes back against Houston. If not, then he'll have to roll again, I guess, with Hunter Henry, unless he makes a change and picks up a different tight end. Hunter Henry playing the 49ers, maybe picks up a different one. Pittman in there against that Pittsburgh defense, but he does have kind of the counter to Richardson. assuming he throws to Pittman. And then Goose Egg Rashid Shaheed still in the lineup this week against Atlanta. So Tyler really not making too many changes besides putting the guys back in that were hurt and changing Trevor Lawrence, but he's keeping his fluxes the same at the moment. We'll see if he changes. I think this could be another similar matchup to me and Matt last week where it's in the 90s and the winner scores like 95 or whatever. I think I don't know. This matchup, I think, is just going to come down to who makes the right changes and the right lineup decisions. So far this season, Tyler really hasn't been able to make too many correct lineup decisions. So I guess I'm going to go with Matt to win, but in a lower scoring affair. Me personally, I'd play Fields, but we'll see what Matt does. But I'm going to pick him to win just barely in a lower scoring matchup of the week. Cheese, who's winning?
And I pick no one to win.
You could pick a tie.
Might be one of the worst matchups I've ever seen.
You pick a tie.
I just hate I don't know why we're investing in the Bears offense right now on Matt's side.
Tyler would tell you
DeAndre
he threw for over 300 and some yards last week, so it's coming
DeAndre
alive.
Swift is droppable. Okay. I don't know how
he
he
ain't
is
got
no
to
one
do that.
better.
Running back, too valuable.
I just think I don't like these teams. I think Tyler will win solely because Matt has more players on his side that are prone to dropping 0 to 3 points.
Okay.
Where I think on Tyler's side, Sun God, Singletary, Olave, they're gonna get some solid points. Pittman will get a couple. He's not gonna drop the goose egg. Shaheed could pop off. He's on the goose egg side though, but I think he's got more solid players. Because Richardson could have a shit game again. Diggs is boom or bust. Addison might not play. Andrews could get 0. No, it's not. A lot of stuff has to go right for Matt.
Okay. All right. Rat.
I've been on the hate train with Tyler since this whole year. His team sucks. If Matt cannot beat Tyler, Matt is in trouble for last place.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a must-win for Matt after choking that one last week to me.
If he can't beat this Tyler team, then I don't know, and I do see him beating it, but let's just see. I don't know. I think Tyler's team is not good.
Alrighty. Pook?
I think Matt will win.
Okay. All right.
But not with that team.
Oh, okay. So you're going to say make some changes and some trades, huh?
I think so.
Okay. Is one of the trades with you?
No comment.
Okay. All right. Zach, who's winning this?
Tie.
A tie. I figured that was coming in that one. All right, moving on to the next matchup. Pretty big one for Bill at 1-2 against one of the undefeated teams, Cheese at 3-0. We'll see if Bill can have a bounce back. He does have his running back spot empty. I guess he's waiting to see if does he have Walker in? Oh no, Walker's on his bench, so that's what he's missing. Wait, where is Walker? Am I blind?
You can't see IR. You can't see IR.
Okay, he's out. He has him on IR at the moment.
Who can you start?
Well, there's a chance Walker plays this week.
I don't think he plays.
Bill said that he's going to be changing his lineup around in the chat.
Well, there's a chance that Walker's going to play, so I'm assuming the only problem is he plays on Monday nights, so he kind of has to. He needs to hope he gets some good reports this week.
Well, he picked up Tracy. He plays on Thursday, so that's kind of.
Yeah, but there's no way he's playing.
I guess Madison.
He wouldn't play Walker. He's playing Walker. Walker's playing.
But the problem is if Walker isn't playing, then he's stuck.
Walker will play.
Oh, Bill just updated his team name.
Okay.
The bench and friends.
All right. Anyways, a little bit of a rough week for Bill. He's got some question marks. I'm thinking Walker's going to play because it would be his third week being out. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. He does play on Monday night, which ain't great for Bill. But he needs some good news. Bill has Josh Allen against Baltimore on Sunday night. We'll see if Allen can continue to put up the good offense or if the Ravens will kind of stifle him a little bit. James Conner against Washington should be a pretty decent matchup for Conner to have a bounce-back game. Jacoby Myers in there against Cleveland, and Jigba on Monday night against Detroit. McBride against Washington, assuming he is healthy enough. I guess he's got injury concerns
He
to
is
deal with.
still in concussion protocol.
Yeah, concussion protocol, so we'll see if he can get out of that by Friday. Dobbs against Minnesota. Chris Godwin, who Bill's very high on against the Eagles, should be decent. Or we'll see if maybe it's an Evans game. Ooh, this is the battle of Evans versus Godwin in this matchup. I kind of like that. Prater against Washington as the kicker. On Cheese's side, as he said, going with Jaden Daniels against Arizona. We'll see if it's a shootout type game. Looked great on Monday night. Gibbs in there, of course, against Seattle on Monday night, so they both got Monday
My whole
night
team's on Monday
players.
night.
Oh yeah, Chain on Monday night as well. The guy that should be in prison on Sunday afternoon against the Chargers. DK Metcalf on Monday night. Kittle on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. Do you not have any 1 o'clock players? Oh, you have Evans. That's it.
And my kicker.
And your kicker. Okay. And then Montgomery on Monday night. So holy, this matchup's going to come down to Monday night. Oh boy.
An easy choice.
I really don't think you're going to start the correct quarterback again this week. I mean, as good as Jaden Daniels looked last week, he's still a rookie, so he's going to have some ups and downs. I think Kyler Murray's playing pretty well. But, I mean, it's hard to pick Bill when he's got, not knowing what's going to happen with Walker. His wide receivers right now, getting rid of Wilson. I mean, Jigba, I think, can have a decent game. But I just don't know with DK in that if he's going to have the pop-off game, which Bill kind of needs from his wide receiver with the rest of his wide receivers looking like they are. I'm going to say, I'll put it this way. If Walker plays and McBride plays, I'm going to pick Bill. If both of them don't play, then obviously I'm going to take Cheese. But I think I think Cheese's team finally puts up like around 110-ish. But I think he'll win if both those two players for Bill don't play. Rat, who's winning this matchup?
Sadly, I have to say Cheese. It seems good. The problem is it was a Commanders and Bengals game. Barrow popped off. I don't see why Kyler wouldn't pop off against that defense. I think he's starting the wrong quarterback. I don't know why he wouldn't just lean Kyler.
Well, I'm thinking putting in Kyler to offset the McBride point.
No, I think you're just putting Kyler because he's going to be the better quarterback this week.
Well, I have an offer with Ernie that
Kyler
loves Kyler,
will
and I'm still waiting to hear back.
If Cheese loses this week, it's because he started Jaden Daniels. So just think about that.
Okay.
Kyler's the guy to start.
Alrighty. All right. Zach, who's winning?
Just pretend he said tie. Okay.
No, wow. Okay.
By how much?
All right. Pook.
How much?
I think Cheese will take the win if he trades me one of his quarterbacks.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
You should. I took him in the 11th round, buddy. Maybe you should.
I was literally going to pick him after Caleb. I was going to go quarterback, and you fucking took him.
Can I say the next matchup?
Yeah.
The
what is the
biggest.
I didn't get a comment. I didn't get a comment.
I know, we're gonna
about you.
I know. I'm gonna count.
I forgot about your ass.
All right, go ahead, Cheese.
Yeah, Rack, I fucking beat you every week. I own you in fantasy. Bitch.
Oh, whoa! Where did that come from? I mean, he ain't wrong.
Whoa, he's not winning this year though.
He ain't wrong.
I'll bet with you,
buddy.
Look.
Look. I will say a couple
one
things.
And done versus Cheese after being the first seed in the playoffs.
Yes, he was.
And
yes,
he won't bet that I'll finish above him
Look,
this year.
I'll say this: my odd-chain bets might be cooked.
Okay.
It's not
but
might, they are.
I think he's still solid. He got stuffed at the goal line a couple times, so he's going to get all the opportunities. And I think with anybody who isn't named Skylar Thompson, and we're even sure it's a real person, will do better throwing the ball to Otchain, because there were multiple times where Otchain was wide open and Skylar Thompson.
I'm looking at your lineup real quick, and I'm trying to figure out what possibly Pook could be offering you for one of these two quarterbacks that is going to improve
Nothing
your
on his
lineup.
team is significantly better than what I have. Like you could argue
wow.
that. Look, you could
Sounds
argue
like you're saying you have the perfect team.
No, I'm not. I'm saying
it
you
sounds
could.
like that, golfer.
I'm saying he's not going to trade me Jefferson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
He's not going to give you one of his stars, so...
You could argue Scary Terry over Evans as a preference thing.
I feel like the only way Pook gets your quarterback is if one of your players gets hurt and then you have a need in a spot.
He offered me Jared Goff and Fab.
Oh.
That's cat. I offered you Jared Goff,
Sorry, and
Sutton, and Fab.
Okay, Cortland Sutton, sure. But that doesn't do anything for me. I have
mean,
bench players
the only
better
way
than
he
Cortland
needs Courtland
Sutton.
Sutton,
That's
he's got Shakir on his
bench
bench.
players.
So
Shakir
can
and
I say
Mooney.
something, Cheese? Then
Shakir and Mooney
stop
are
saying
better.
your office is open if you
They're
don't want to make
definitely
trades.
not
Ooh, that
better
is true,
teams.
Cheese. I don't know why you keep saying
Okay,
your
You
well,
office
always
is open.
maybe I'll close my office.
so
then.
just
Then
close
relax
it so
about
nobody comes to you,
I
buddy.
mean, the only
How
way
about
you
that?
should just say the only way your office is open is if you're getting like a top first round player for some of your players or something.
I
But
will say that Pusa made a very attractive offer for Rashee Rice.
ooh, well, you should trade him
Um,
because he should be thrown in jail.
he will not be thrown in jail
He
though.
should be.
But I will say Pusa offered a certain Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, okay.
But Rashee Rice should be good.
All
Look, my team's very solid right now. Kittle practiced today, which is good.
Only
Um,
Wednesday.
Otherwise, Zach Ertz looked like a great pickup for me. I'll take the 8 points and all the tight ends doing
Okay,
shit
we're not
this year.
hyping up Zach Ertz 8 points right now.
Better than
You're
Mark
not
Andrews.
starting. If he did that great last week, then start him this week. Jeez,
Look.
it was last week. We don't care.
Look, we're looking very solid. Okay, eventually I'll find a kicker that
Well,
works.
no shit. You're looking solid. You're 3-0. Okay.
And
Are you going to be 4-0 is the question.
I think so.
Okay.
I think
All
so.
right.
There are kickers out there that work.
All right.
I will find them.
The only flaw with Cheese so far this year is he can't start the right quarterback and he can't find a kicker. Other than that, your team's perfect, Cheese. Good job.
I have a kicker for him.
All right.
Okay.
Moving on to the next matchup. You want to go first, or you want to say your comment right now?
Wait, no, I wanted the next one because the next one you're doing Poos and Pook first, so do that first.
Oh, you want me to save the best for last? is what you're
Yes,
saying.
yes.
Okay. All right. Pook versus Pusa. Both teams 1-2. This is another one of those 1-2 versus 1-2 big matchups here. Somebody falls to 1-3, kind of near the cellar. The other team goes to 2-2 and is pretty in a solid spot. So big one here right now. Sleeper projecting Pusa to pick up a win, 124 to 114. Pusa has Jalen Hurts against Tampa Bay. We'll see if he's without both his wide receivers. That could hurt Hurts. He might have to run more. Stevenson looking for a bounce back against the 49ers. Not the best matchup in the world for the bounce back. Tony Pollard on Monday night against Miami. Maybe they get him the ball. He had a bad last game. Deontay Johnson. It was only a matter of time before Pusa puts his boy Deontay Johnson in there against Cincinnati. Decent matchup, and now with the red rifle there, maybe it's a decent play. Not going to hate on it. I mean, it could be solid, and any excuse to put Deontay Johnson in there for Pusa, he will take. Jamar Chase in there against Carolina, so he's got two wide receivers in that game. Both could have a pretty decent day. I expect that game to be a decent high-scoring matchup. Dallas Goedert, roll with him against Tampa Bay after the monster game last week with Smith and A.J. Brown possibly out. Could be another huge week for him. Marvin Harrison, as we already said, Pusa put him in some trade rumors against Washington. Great matchup, should do good. He's looking good after that bad first week. He's had 2 great weeks. And then Ayuk, can we get an Ayuk sighting against the Patriots? If not now, then when? For Ayuk with no Debo in there.
How many more passes will he drop?
Yeah, I mean, all the guy did was hold out, sign the contract, and then just start dropping balls like crazy. It's not looking good for Ayuk this season, and I have him in JV, which sucks. And then Fairbairn in there for Houston against Jacksonville. Should be decent after Fairbairn. Didn't he drop a goose egg last week? He did. A lot of goose egg or 1-point kickers last week. Not good. On Pook's side, Jared Goff on Monday night, so he has a Monday night player as well.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Sam Darnold. So why don't you just switch him?
Because I have Keenan in my IR, and he's
okay.
not on IR.
All right, so Darnold Trump in there against Green Bay. So rolling with him over the Monday night player. Derrick Henry on Sunday night against Buffalo. Big matchup there after the monster game from Henry. Josh Jacobs against Minnesota. A lot of Green Bay, Minnesota guys on Pook's team for this matchup. Jefferson against Green Bay as well. After the huge game for Amari Cooper, he gets the Raiders. Should be a good matchup. Should be a decent game for Cooper again. Ferguson tomorrow night, so Pook has a Thursday night player against the Giants. Should be good. Hubbard in there against Cincinnati, Scary Terry against Arizona, and Moody against the Patriots. And then maybe possibly Keenan gets in there. I'm assuming you're going to put him in for Hubbard if he plays.
One of the Fluxes will be gone. I
Okay.
don't know which one
Really?
yet.
After the huge game from Terry?
Amari
you
Cooper
put
should be
that-
gone.
I mean, they both
Wow.
had big games.
Amari
Isn't
Cooper
he
just
hurt?
had huge
Wasn't he
game and
hurt?
plays the
Keenan Allen
Raiders.
should just stay on the bench.
Really? Well, that might be the best option. That might be right there. All right. This is feeling a lot like last season where Pook's team started out rough and then it got going. It kind of feels the same way this season. His players have some big weeks last week. They have decent matchups again this week to have big weeks again. I'm going to take Pook to beat Pusa in a higher scoring matchup, though. I think like around 130 something to 120 something. I think Pusa's team plays pretty solid. He's got some decent matchups, but I think Pook's players are going to perform better. So I'm going to roll with Pook and send Pusa to 1-3, which might get him panicking a little bit, especially for those bets he's made with a bunch of people that he's down. He's down in 3 of them and tied with the 4th person. So right now he's down like $300.
Oh, who's he tied with?
He's tied. We went over
You
these the
can't
other
say he's
night.
tied with me because I'm above him in points.
Oh, you guys have a points tiebreaker? Okay.
I mean, that makes
All right.
sense.
Well, on record, he's tied.
If it's not said in the bet, then it doesn't count.
On record, by record, he's tied with you. So we got a long way to go. But he's down to everybody else. Me, Ernie, and Cheese. So yeah, he's got to start getting some wins. But I don't think it's going to be this week. I think Pook's going to win. Cheese, who's winning?
Pook will be winning. His team finally kind of showed up.
Yep.
I do like Pusa's team. However, he needs to trade some of his wide receivers, which he said he wouldn't trade for running backs because his running backs are a black hole right now.
I mean,
like
the only problem with trading his wide receivers is then he's not going to be able to trade Waddle right now. So if he trades one of his other wide receivers, he can't really trade Ayuk either with how bad he's looked.
you should be
It's either Harrison or Chase.
You should be trading them for a slightly worse wide
But then
receiver
he's
and
got to
running back.
roll with Waddle. And until I don't know if you want to do that.
Or
until
maybe
you
he
see a
waits for some
quarterback.
people to blow up and then trades them. But his running backs, like I get Stevenson's good, but
I think he needs to see a big game from either Ayuk or Waddle or a better quarterback from Waddle before he trades somebody.
His running backs are like Ramondre has good games, but Ramondre also gets games scripted very easily out of games.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not really great. And Pollard, I'm on the Pollard hate train.
I just am pointing this out. Remember when Pusa traded for Pollard from Slaps? Everybody shit on the Slaps.
I
Now
thought it was a fair
Slaps
trade.
didn't get that great of a return either, but Pollard, everyone was saying how
He
Pollard's
got
so much
Najee
better.
and Sharp.
Yeah, and
That was a fair trade.
That's a good return.
The other trade's what I was shitting on him for, the Kirk one.
Okay, well, some people were shitting on him for giving up Pollard, who they said was way
If Pusa kept
better.
Najee and Sharp, he'd be in a great spot right now.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Although we don't know how much longer Sharp's going to be, but.
Well, Najee at least.
Yeah. Okay, so you're taking who again? Pook?
I will be taking Pook with a resounding victory.
Oh, blowing him out, really? Wow.
Tie.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts fucking sucks, so he's not going to help.
Zach,
Pusa.
I thought you only pick one tie a week.
Zach has he's picked a tie for every matchup but mine, which is picked Bill.
Man,
Well,
Pook,
no,
you've really scarred him. Pook,
Rat
you have really scarred him after last week. He was talking a lot in the first couple shows, and last week.
Here, I'll get him talking.
You just scarred him.
I'm going to propose we vote him out for
He's
Ants.
not talking. Okay,
Oh my
buddy.
god.
All right, buddy. Relax.
He's not going to be active after he loses.
All right, Rat. Who are you picking in this?
After Pusa lost to Slaps, I take Pook by 200.
Whoa.
I hope that happens. That would be amazing.
Okay.
I think it will be 246 to 46, and Pusa breaks the record.
No, he would need under 41.
Both would be breaking records.
35.
Both would be breaking
41.
records.
Well,
I don't think anybody's breaking that record. I got that record forever.
Pook would break the record for most scored, and Pusa would break the record for most.
What is the most scored?
You have it.
I
That was
had
probably
it pinned
Zombie
before.
just now.
It was I think, wasn't it Zombie?
Didn't he have 188 before?
Oh, it's higher than that.
It was
I think.
It's like 194.
Yeah, it's in the 190s. Okay. All right. Pook, are you getting back-to-back wins to go to 2-1-2?
The only way I lose is if Fairbairn decides to pop the fuck off again, which I'm kind of scared will happen.
Okay, so you're worried about a kicker costing you.
Yes, I am.
All right, and any more Sam Darnold hype you'd like to say?
I need Donald Trump to prove why he is a top 5 quarterback in the league right now.
For the whole season. Isn't he? He's already top 5 right now currently, isn't he?
Yes, he needs to continue that
But can
top
he
5.
continue it is the question. Okay. Or will he be like Baker Mayfield last week? We'll see.
Whoa. Whoa, don't put that bad juju on me.
I'm just
I
saying,
want to
it's a
highlight
chance.
the
It's a
next
chance.
matchup.
What'd you say?
I said I just want to make a message for the next matchup.
Okay, yeah.
I am just so glad we get the biggest matchup of the week next week.
Oh, okay.
It is the biggest matchup of the week. It's 2 3-0 teams. We will no longer have 3 undefeated teams, obviously, unless there's a tie in this. Zombie at 3-0 versus Ernie at 3-0. Ernie's team name Zombie Got No Bitches. Okay, interesting. At the moment, Sleeper projects Ernie to pull out a quick small dub 118 to 116. Ernie has Patrick Mahomes against the Chargers. A little bit better of a game last week for Mahomes, but the Chargers defense looks solid, so we'll see what happens with Mahomes. Obviously, Ernie's team, as we've already talked about, the three-headed monster of running backs, Barkley against Tampa Bay, Kyron Williams against Chicago, and Kamara against Atlanta. We'll see if those guys continue to put up huge games to lead Ernie to another victory. Tank Dell against Jacksonville could be decent with Jacksonville's defense looking horrible. We'll see. Calvin Ridley on Monday night against Miami could also be decent. Somebody's got to score some points in that game. Kyle Pitts against the Saints, and Ladd McConkey sticking with him against the Chiefs. And then obviously one of the best kickers, Aubrey, against the Giants tomorrow night to get him started. Could be good for Ernie. On Zombie side, he also has Thursday night players. Big one, Dak Prescott against the Giants. I'm expecting a big game from Dak, as I already said with CD, so I'm expecting a big game from Dak against the Giants. Brees Hall against Denver. He gets his points normally each week, so not too worried about him. Aaron Jones against Green Bay after the monster game last week. Drake London against the Saints. Drake London catching touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks to make him look a little more justified in taking them where Zombie did. Jawan Jennings, he's sticking with Jawan Jennings in there against the Patriots. Decent matchup. I don't think you can expect anywhere near what he did last week, but could still put up double digits and have a decent game. With Debo still out. And Njoku, assuming he comes back against the Raiders. And then Malik Neighbors, who Zombie put better than Jefferson tomorrow night. So Zombie got 2 big players tomorrow night on Thursday night, so he better be off to a decent lead against Ernie after tomorrow night. And then Thomas in there against Houston. And Boswell, who he picked up against the Colts as his kicker. This is a tough one. As Rat said, it's a huge matchup. It's a big matchup. There's some big players for both of these two teams, especially at
big
running
boys.
back.
Big
Yeah,
boy.
running back. I think the real question is just how does if Zombie's wide receivers outscore Ernie's by a lot, and then if Brees Hall and Aaron Jones can kind of negate some of the points that Kyron and Barkley will score. There's so many ways this matchup could go, especially like with Jennings. Does he have another nice game, or does he lay an egg? Because then that could help Ernie win. Oh, but then Ernie also has McConkey, who knows what he'll do against the Chiefs. Oh, it's so hard. I'm gonna predict a tie because I don't know who the fuck's gonna win this game. Both these teams are very good. They both have players that have been hot to start the season. I think Zombie gets off to a good start tomorrow night, but then I think Ernie kind of rolls back on Sunday. So I'm going to say a tie because I don't know. I think it's the first time I've ever predicted a tie. Cheese, who's winning?
I'm taking my boy Ernie
Wow, okay.
because Zombie fucked up, and here's why. If you look on his bench, his boy Quentin Johnston, who he's hiked up right there on the bench, and he should be starting him over Juwan
Really?
Jennings, who's going to fall right back down to earth with
Really?
Kittle
You
returning.
think so? Against Kansas City? Okay.
Johnston is the red zone target for Herb,
Hmm.
or whoever the quarterback they're throwing out there,
All right.
and he will get a touchdown, and he'll be a difference maker.
I mean, Debo's still out for the 49ers, but Kittle was probably back. But okay, interesting call there.
Also, Dak is an elite stat patter, and it'll be really embarrassing. They'll beat the Giants, but he'll play terribly.
Wow. Okay. All right. Rat.
I got one problem with Ernie. It is time to use your $51 man this week. You put
Wow.
one of your guys on the bench. You put your $51 man on, and your
Okay.
running backs go him, and you win.
So you're
Beat
saying go
Zombie.
4 running backs, put
Yes.
McConkey on the bench, and
Yes.
go a 4-headed running back
Yes.
monster against Zombie wide receivers.
Allen and Brees Hall are going to destroy the Broncos,
Hmm.
and it's time to use your $51 man.
You know, you're kind of right because Zombie has Brees Hall, so why not throw your
You need
$51
to
man in
do
there
it,
and then
buddy.
maybe he outscores Hall somehow and
Yes,
steals his points. I
and
kind of like that call.
the Chargers versus the Chiefs kind of scare me. With Chiefs defense is scary.
Okay, so you're
But
saying
yeah.
Zombie wins if he doesn't do that, or
Yes, I
Okay.
think that's the audible to do. Is go Allen.
All
You
right,
spend him
put the man to
for
the
nothing.
test.
Yes.
Okay, I don't think Ernie will do that, but we'll see. Pook.
I'll go with my boy Ernie here.
Wow.
Fuck Zombie.
Wow. Okay.
Aaron Jones ain't
That
gonna
was
do
coming.
shit. It's all Darnold and Jefferson.
Okay. All right, and Zach.
Ty.
Ty. Wow, not even picking your boy Ernie, huh? Wow. Ty. All right. All right. Well, there we have it. That is the week 4 predictions. Real quickly before we end with Zach's segment. By the way, we will be doing the panic meter for next week because I didn't have enough
Unbelievable.
time to do the graphics.
Wow.
Next
Okay.
week we'll be
I
be 4
will-
weeks in. It'll be like quarter of the season, so it'll be the perfect time to do it.